Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing a video, and this one is about the very tender subject of obesity. And been trying to actually lose weight myself, of course. I think during the crisis that we're in, I kind of adopted some bad habits that were not good with regards to exercise and so forth. But thankfully, I have a treadmill of my own that I've been going on almost every day. Not for long enough, but trying to increase the number of time, the amount of time and stuff, and looking at my intake, because I have this horrible acid reflux kind of heartburn that I get. So trying to reduce a lot of the bad stuff in my life. I think I have lost some weight in the last couple of weeks because of the treadmill. Sounds kind of like maybe it's a leap of faith, but I think I've noticed my double chin is reduced in severity in my videos, so that's probably what it is. So anyways, I was listening to NPR, which, as we know, is like a minefield, especially for us that are kind of questioning our old beliefs about the left and so forth, which I'm still would consider myself part of. But they were talking about this like activist or fucking, I don't know what she was exactly. I can't exactly recall what they said she was, because I think I'd tuned in after they introduced her, or I can't remember, during the commercial break or whatever. So she was talking about how, well, the stigma of the obesity of the fat people and all this stuff, like just totally ignoring like the idea that you watch old movies from the 70s or the 80s, and some people look like they're actually anorexic. I mean, but everybody's thin, everybody looks I mean, they're a lot thinner than they were, and people have gotten fatter and fatter. And you simultaneously have seen these food companies and preservative companies accumulate more and more power and wealth. And also, you see like how the corn syrup industry has gotten huge too, So the irony is that the left is talking about fat shaming. She was talking about positivity at any size, and what part of the segment was about was how people, there were studies early on in the COVID crisis where there might have been some correlation of obesity, obese people dying, but there's no causation. There's very little there's a handful of studies that said there was causation. It's like trying to downplay the idea that people that are severely obese, over 40 BMI, which thankfully I'm not near that. Over 40 BMI people have, ignoring the idea that they have comorbidities, which does increase the chances. So it's kind of like this circular, weird, illogical reasoning that she had. Like, there's no evidence. Well, that is evidence. It's evidence that obesity causes things that cause the comorbidities that cause the severity of the outcome of the virus. So this fucking attitude that obesity is just something that should be accepted carte blanche from the left, quote unquote, is fucking fallacious and dangerous. And in a way, I believe that these companies, this is kind of my point about woke corporatism, as I call it. 10 years ago, we had Obama, and Michelle Obama was the vice president, under Obama, not vice president, first lady, excuse me. Vice President Michelle Obama was the first, what the fuck? Too much coffee. Mine's going everywhere. So Michelle Obama had all these things about being healthy, eating healthy, exercising, all this shit. Where have we gone? And, some of the stuff was a little bit, hoity-toity or, authoritarian, and like a lot of right wingers got on her about certain things about that, and there could have been a little bit of a smugness to some of it, but The point being is, where have we gone? If you're listening to these segments on NPR and they're saying, oh, it makes no difference. It makes no difference if you're fat or not. There's such a social stigma. Oh my God. When we know that being especially severely obese causes a lot of bad shit. And where has the left gone in 10 fucking years when you have Michelle Obama talking about being fit and healthy? Fit and fucking healthy. She talked about that, and she was very much about, nutrition. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Obama, but this is something that, looking back upon is actually a really good thing now that we're going through this weird transition of whatever the fuck they're trying to do to us. And I'm looking back in this and I'm just like, Michelle Obama seems like a saint compared to like what they're saying now about fat acceptance. And like the way that this woman was talking on NPR was pretty much like, there's like the way she was downplaying the health effects of obesity. She was basically she might have mentioned, offhandedly they're more at risk for this or that. The way she was talking about was sick of the bad effects and how people have this bias and intersectionality with obesity and like all this fucking politically correct garbage, this woke fucking garbage in this video, or not video, in this segment. And I was just like, I was shaking my head and I was pissed because I've struggled with weight most of my life. And for this woman to come on and say like, there's no reason, like there's like the will of losing weight or trying to be more, or it's personal, it's not personal responsibility. She was like trying to defy the idea that there's any culpability of people being fat too. And it's like, oh my God, it just made me so pissed. That's why I'm doing a video about it, because it just made me so fucking, like, infuriated me. Like, as someone that struggled with that shit and has binge eaten out of stress, and eating shittily out of stress too. I mean, fucking spicy chili, sweet chili Doritos are fucking really good. I mean, it's just, and the Newman's Own cookies, the Oreo ripoffs, which are way healthier than probably regular Oreos, and they taste better too, but it's complete bullshit. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is part, I mean, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist, let's put it like this. These corporations, this woke corporatism will tie in this like obesity acceptance thing into like pushing more people to be unhealthy and eat junk food, period. And, I long for the days of Michelle Obama talking about this stuff, because like, and the left, it's like, oh, you just accept people, accept your weight. It's healthy in any size. Right. Sure. We can see that. Let's look at what the person's eating. I mean, yeah, there are genetic factors. There are other factors. And yeah, the COVID thing with obesity, maybe there's other correlations, but to deny the factors that obesity have in influencing adverse health effects is fucking nonsense. I mean, the fact that they would run this segment on NPR is appalling. It's appalling after all the years of work that people have put into this thing. And yeah, there is a little bit of an obsession about being thin. But you look at, like I said at the beginning of this video, look in the 70s, people were a lot thinner because there's less preservatives in the food, blah, 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 blah. People were probably walking around more and exercising more. Now, did it have a huge effect on life expectancy? Maybe not, maybe it didn't. Maybe life expectancy has increased to some extent since then because of medical stuff from when you're older. But, maybe a lot of people smoked back then too. So that might have been a little causative factor in that. But anyways, this segment is nonsense. Don't listen to these people. If you think you're making fat jokes is bad, to a certain extent, but if you're like, and there are people that are, roughly, somewhat overweight that can be healthy. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It's just the pendulum swinging the other way. Beyond, you can have this pendulum swing this way, like, oh, you got oh, we have an obesity epidemic in the United States. We should all get healthy and blah 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 blah. Yeah, maybe it can go too far into that and deny that there aren't, I can't deny that there are people that are BMI is above healthy weight, quote unquote, from the doctors that are healthy, that they are healthy, but pendulum swinging in the other direction where we're just accepting obesity like it doesn't have any factor in anything, is just complete bullshit, and it's woke nonsense, and needs to be fucking pounced and decimated in its infancy of the idea being rooted in American culture. That's all.